Hello, Mr. Thompkins. Thanks for meeting with me today. First off, I just wanted to let you know I am sorry that what I have to do today is kind of give you some bad news. As you know, we had a pretty successful time with your case here in the lower courts, but as you know that the railroad did appeal that case all the way up until the Supreme Court. And we just got back, we just heard about the ruling, and unfortunately what I think is going to happen is it's going to be just absolutely terrible for your case when it goes back to the lower court. So basically what happened, as you know, we were trying to assert the argument that instead of applying Pennsylvania law to what happened to you, this tragic accident, we were hoping to try and apply what's called federal common law to the case. Basically, the idea is that the railroad is trying to argue that even though you had this horrific accident happen to you and you've been, maimed for the rest of your life, that they didn't owe you any standard of care. They didn't owe you any duty because you were a trespasser. You weren't supposed to be walking by the railroad like that. You weren't supposed to be walking on that footpath. So obviously our argument was that that's not reasonable, that the railroad line, they knew that the townsfolk, that you and your friends would use that path very regularly. But despite that knowledge, they didn't do anything to try and curb the danger that you were experiencing. So that was the argument we were making. Under federal law, that argument was making sense under something that's called federal common law, that you were basically a de facto or a tacit invitee is the language they use. You were someone who was invited to use that since the railroad never kicked you off. Unfortunately, however, under the concept of kind of a states' rights doctrine, the Supreme Court has just ruled that despite 100 years to the contrary, that the Supreme Court is now going to say that federal judges have to actually look more at the substantive law of the land where the court lays. So in your case, unfortunately, this is just absolutely awful for our case. It means that the lower court is now going to have to apply Pennsylvania law, and the Pennsylvania law is going to be based on the idea that you are in fact a trespasser, and the only way that the train company itself, the railroad company, is going to be able to be proven to owe you anything would be if they had acted maliciously or if they had acted recklessly because you were a trespasser. And unfortunately, I'm thinking most likely that is not going to be able to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt and, or with the preponderance of evidence in front of a jury. And unfortunately, because of that, I think that what's going to happen is you're going to lose. I'm really sorry for that. I think that we had a really strong case when we started out. Like I said, this has been 100 years of law this way. It's a shock. It's making huge ripples in the legal community. I apologize that I don't have better news for you. We're still going to do our absolute best at the lower court. We're going to fight as hard as we can. We're going to try and prove that, in fact, it was negligent, that they did owe you a duty, but I don't think the law is looking very strongly in your favor. If you have any questions, please feel free to get back to me. Let me know, talk it over with your family. I apologize that I haven't been able to be more helpful. I'm just distraught about this ruling myself. Everyone is just completely shocked by what happened. And we're going to keep looking. We're going to be creative. We're going to see if there's another way we can make it work better for you here at the lower court. Unfortunately, it's not looking great at this point, but we'll keep trying. So let me know if you have any questions and we can follow up through there. All right. Thanks so much. It was nice talking to you, and I really wish you the best of luck, okay? Thanks. Bye.